Nature. We as humans are mesmerized with the natural wonders of our universe. We find joy and comfort in the natural beauties of our earth. Love of nature comes naturally to us. Yet, we might ask, what is natural anyway? Consider, for example, this avocado. It was picked from a tree. Yet this avocado can be called an organic, all-natural version. It might even be sold in a natural grocery store. So what makes this second avocado so much more natural than the first? Some human somewhere decides that. A dictionary might say natural is produced by nature, based on some state of things in nature, not civilized or cultivated, coming in the ordinary course of natural events, free from affectation or restraint, and based on what is learned from nature. Somehow, when we start to assign some kind of morality judgment to the concept of natural, things start to get a little screwy. Sam Harris is author of a number of best-selling books, including one called End of Faith. Harris writes a bit about the implications of the concept of natural, including saying this: we must continually remind ourselves that there is a difference between what is natural and what is good. There is nothing more natural than being killed and eaten by a bear. This is John Boswell. He was head of the history department at Yale University, probably one of the most innovative researchers in the area of Bible times and same-sex experience that our community has ever known. He is an LGBTQ academic hero. In his book, Christianity, Social Tolerance, and Homosexuality, Boswell reveals extensive research on the concepts of natural as understood in Bible times. Of note in Boswell's writings is the fact that in about 100 AD, there was the Epistle of Barnabas. Barnabas was one of the early church fathers, and the Epistle of Barnabas was accepted by those who were familiar with it at the time as being gospel. It's now considered an apocryphal writing. It's not a canonized writing. It's not a part of the gospel as we accept it. One of the things that the Epistle of Barnabas claimed was that you eat rabbits, you're going to molest boys. Or you could be made to be like the rabbit, which the Epistle of Barnabas claimed grows a new anal opening each year, so that however many years he has lived, he has that many. This was the epistle according to Barnabas: beware the hare. Barnabas also said one should not eat the hyena. He said, so that you may not become an adulterer or a seducer like them. He claimed that animal changed its gender annually and is 1 year a male and the next a female. In fact, gay men were referenced to as hares and rabbits or as hyenas in Europe in the 11th and 12th centuries, based on these strange, scientifically ignorant concepts of nature. There were depictions of rabbits on hyenas symbolic of same sexuality, and even drawings of dragons attacking hyenas, all based on erroneous scientific thought. Now we come to the Apostle Paul, who is attributed with the bulk of references to natural in the New Testament. He wrote in 1 Corinthians, "Does not nature itself teach you that long hair dishonors a man?" Yeah, well, what about Samson, who the Old Testament said lost his great blessing and strength when his hair was cut? All the depictions of Jesus in paintings and movies have him with long hair. Isn't it nature that makes hair grow long anyway? That brings us to the concept of sex and what is natural, and the fact that the thought in biblical times was based on a concept that all human reproduction was contained in the male seed. It was thought that life came only from the male seed and grew into a baby. The woman was seen only as a fertile field in which the seed could grow to fruition. It was then considered a sin to spill the seed, the male seed, anywhere outside of that fertile field. It was an abomination, so much so that the Bible used the example of a guy named Onan, who God, it said, struck dead because he spilled his seed on the ground. This, of course, was all before the male reproductive cell could be seen on a microscope. The concept of reproduction coming from the male seed only persisted for centuries. In fact, it was a frog who finally cleared it up. It wasn't until 1854 that someone saw a frog sperm cell and egg combine under a microscope, and the idea of life being only in the male seed went away. 1854. So sin, according to Paul, was anything that wasted the male seed. Why then should we in an enlightened age get our guidance and information from an era of scientific ignorance, intellectual arrogance, general misogyny, and patriarchal privilege? We should instead draw from our evolved and educated understanding of the discoveries of science, the further civilization of humans, the experience of centuries, and increased spiritual enlightenment to make our moral choices. It seems only natural.